It's Sunday, January 3rd. The time is 12 p.m. I'm in my room. Cops had people, cops from Houston, Texas have people coming up in my room, putting shit on my head and in my nose and in my ears. They also have people coming in my room to look at me, to identify me. They're gonna have these people make false allegations on me. I'm in my room in the circumference of my privacy, not bothering nobody, not outside, not talking to nobody. I'm in my room, and the cops that the government appointed to stalk me are doing all sorts of things to entrap me. They got people coming in my room looking at me so they can make false allegations on me because they want to arrest me and they want to make me retarded. Do you understand that? This is why I'm asking the government to get these cops away from me. All right? This is like every day. I don't know where the Chevron heiress is. I haven't seen her. The only Chevron heiress that I know is the Chevron heiress that I spent 3 days and 3 nights with in a motel 7 years and 5 months ago. That's the only Chevron heiress I know. These other women coming around, they've been portraying the Chevron heiress also for years. I played a little game to keep the communications going. But I don't know where the real Chevron heiress is. To me, the real Chevron heiress is the woman that spent 3 nights and 3 days in a motel with me. Her name is Karina Gomez, and she gave me this phone number, her phone number, 281-928-1166. She gave me her phone number. Now I got these cops interfering with my life. They're trying to get me to get invisible. They want to. The reason they're trying to get me to get invisible, and it's a well-known fact throughout the invisible society, that if you kill a ground, that the spiritual essence will go into them, and they could have the supernatural abilities that that ground had. I'm not a ground. I cannot get invisible like grounds get invisible by opening and closing their hands on a piece of wood next to metal, between metal. I cannot get invisible like that. I don't get invisible, period. It's not one of my repertoires. I want these cops to leave me alone. I want the government to leave me alone. They're causing me to flee. They're putting me in a situation for me to flee, to leave. And I have justification to leave. Or I have annexes to the law, to the criminal justice system, that's going to make me a fugitive. And it's like they're trying to lock me up one way or the other. And I'm asking the government to assist me because the the subordinates that they appointed, assigned, I suspect they appointed and assigned these subordinates to me because they're following me everywhere. I went to Houston. In Houston, it was the very first time that I acknowledged them. I went to New Orleans. They followed me. I went to Mexico. They followed me across the border. And they was doing the same thing over there with the Mexican police. And telling people over there that I was committing immoral acts as they've been doing here. And I'm not committing immoral acts. Nowhere. I came back to Texas from Mexico. I stood there for about 5 days, vacation. I stood there for about 5 days and came back. Then I left Texas and came back to New York. And the cops from Houston, Texas followed me to New York. And every so often, I noticed that they get a whole bunch of people to make false allegations on me. And I feel that they're doing this, right? So they can prolong the surveillance on me. Why does the government follow somebody for 7 years and 5 months that is living off a Social Security income, a disability Social Security income, who goes to churches like 5 days, 7 days to the end of the month to eat food because they're broke, who's living in a shelter? What do they follow somebody like me for? Am I like a kingpin? Do I have too much money that they want to know where I'm getting it from? What is it? Why is the government stalking me? What is the legal reason? Is the legal reason the reason that homosexual cops that are stalking me, right, create so they could prolong the surveillance on me? I mean, they're disrespecting me, assassinating my reputation and character, having people say that I'm committing immoral acts everywhere, making derogatory hand gestures behind my back. Everywhere. Because they want attention. They want me to get invisible. They want me to acknowledge them. They want me to embrace their homosexual preference. They're putting me under duress to embrace their homosexual preference. It's well documented that they sexually harass me with homosexuals all the time. It's documented on film a few times. I indicated and directed many who reviewed my film, my videos, to videos in buildings I lived in where these cops had their gay accomplice go into my room invisible and come out to make it appear that I'm associated with them, and I'm not associated with them. Period. I just want these cops away from me, or I get away from them. Exonerate me from my legal my legal attachments to the criminal justice system. I am illegally convicted anyway. I pointed that out to the court several times in documents that I submitted to the court. I'm not an attorney, but I'm pretty sure that the documents that I submitted to the court were of legal standing. Back in that era of time, When one criminal charge fell under family court, all the criminal charges fell under the family court. And when family court transferred the matter to the criminal court, that was deemed to be an acquittal. So when I got transferred to the criminal court, I was transferred to the criminal court and recharged with crimes, alleged crimes that were acquitted in the family court. Now, state constitution in that era of time, 1997, state constitution of New York in relation to the Family Court Act stipulates that everything I just said. And Article 812 of the Family Court Acts also stipulates that back in that era of time when the alleged crimes were committed on my paramour, whom we have a child in common and live under the same household. So the government convicted me on the provisions of res judicata or collateral estoppel, double jeopardy, ex post facto. Those are all the constitutional elements that my situation falls under. Not only that, every single one of them elements of the Constitution I just mentioned fits my situation perfectly. And I brought this to their attention on legal documents to the court, and they ignored me. According to law, I was acquitted and retried for the same crimes. In the family court. In the criminal court. It's documented. So I'm asking the court to exonerate me from all criminal justice annexes based on that. Because I have homosexual police officers stalking me for their own personal reasons. It's like their character and demeanor is like, we get what we want. We take what we want. We do what we want with me. And I don't accept that. The government is responsible for what these cops are doing, and they're well aware. This leads me to believe that the government is principal actors in directing their subordinates to do to me as their subordinates are doing to me. I'm not committing crimes. Thank you. My name is Larry Rodriguez. I don't know where the Chevron errors is. Please find the Chevron errors and place them in the protection of the federal government.